A. Solve the equation 5 to the power of 2x plus 5 to the power of x equals 12, giving your answer correct to 3 significant figures. If you move all the terms in that expression to one side, notice that 5 to the power of 2x is just 5x to the power of 2. So what we have here is a hidden quadratic, and we can solve it just like a quadratic. If it's hard to see whether it's a quadratic or not, what you can do is let x, or let big X, equals 5 to the power of x, and that will change the expression into x squared plus x minus 12 equals 0, which looks like your standard quadratic equation. And when we solve quadratic equations, we can solve by factorizing. So if we factorize that, we will get x plus 4 multiplied by x minus 3 equals 0, meaning we have two solutions. One solution comes from x plus 4 equals 0, which solving for x will get you x equals minus 4. And the other solution comes from x minus 3 equals 0, which solving for x will give you x equals 3. Remember, we said big X equals 5 to the power of x. So we got big X equals minus 4 and big X equals 3. This means that 5 to the power of x equals minus 4 and 5 to the power of x equals 3. And by looking at those two expressions, we can notice that 5 to the power of x equals minus 4 is impossible because we cannot power a positive number to make it negative no matter what we do. So 5 to the power of x equals minus 4 you can just ignore, and your solution will come from 5 to the power of x equals 3. So we will use this to solve for x. When solving for x from 5 to the power of x equals 3, x is in the power. So we need to bring it down from the power, and we can do that by taking the log of both sides. In this case, I will use log with base e, which is natural log or ln. So taking the ln of both sides, I have ln 5 to the power of x and ln 3. And there's a rule with logarithms that you can drop the power in front. So we have x ln 5 equals ln 3. And now we can solve for x, or make x the subject of the formula, by dividing both sides by ln 5. Remember, ln 5 and ln 3 are just numbers, so you can treat it just like a number. And we get x equals ln 3 over ln 5, which you can type into the calculator, and it will give you 0.682606119. And we need to round it to 3 significant figures. So that's x equals 0.682. For all questions, when you're solving for an unknown value from an equation, you can always check your answer by substituting the value you found out back into the original equation. In this case, if we substitute x into the expression on the left-hand side, it should equal 0. So if you try that with a calculator, and it should roughly equal 12. If it doesn't, you might want to check your answer again. B. It is given that ln y plus 5 minus ln y equals 2 ln x. Express y in terms of x in a form not involving logarithms. So what that means is basically make y the subject of the formula with no logs. So the basics of solving equations involving logarithms is to rearrange the equation so that we have one log on both sides that have the same base. If we do that, then we can just make the inside of the log on both sides equal to each other, because by direct comparison, if the left-hand side looks like the right-hand side, then it should be equal. Or you can rearrange so that there's one log on one side and the other side is just a number. Once we have that, that means that the base to the power of the number on the other side must equal what is inside the log. So the aim here is to rearrange the expression ln y plus 5 minus ln y equals 2 ln x into either forms that we can use to solve for x or y. The first thing we can do is combine y plus 5 and y. So it's ln y plus 5 minus ln y, so we can combine it using the rules into ln of y plus 5 divided by y equals 2 ln x. And there's also another rule that you can drop the power in front. So you can put the 2 back into the logarithm as the power of x. So we have ln y plus 5 divided by 5 equals ln of x squared. And now we have one ln on both sides with the same base. So we can directly compare them. And that means that the inside of both logs or both lns should be the same. This means y plus 5 over y must equal x squared. And once we get to this point, we can just do what we normally do to make y the subject of the formula.